Good morning, my lovely little ghosts, and welcome to the Dark Orchard. I'm Laura, and this is my Valentine's Day video. As was said in my intro, this is my Valentine's Day video. More specifically, I'm going to be doing a Great Gatsby inspired SFX makeup look. I know what you're thinking. Laura, why? Why the Great Gatsby for Valentine's Day? This is almost as bad as my Bloody Valentine for Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day isn't always happy loves, hugs, and kittens and puppies for everybody. Sometimes Valentine's Day is just as messy as the Great Gatsby. Because this year is 2020 and the Great Gatsby was placed in the 1920s, I decided to do a Great Gatsby inspired makeup look. But not just any makeup look. Here's my spoiler warning right here. There will be a ton of Great Gatsby spoilers. So if you have not seen The Great Gatsby or not read The Great Gatsby, you need to stop, go pick up a book, and come back. Unless you don't mind spoilers, in which case, stay. I was discussing my lack of ideas for this year's Valentine's Day with my friend because I couldn't think of anything to top last year, where I did not only a chest prosthetic, but I also did a gelatin heart. So I basically did 2 videos in one last year with the My Bloody Valentine theme, which led me to not knowing what would top it, not knowing what would be just as good, if not better, than last year's video. So if you haven't seen last year's video, I'm going to link it up in the card, I'm going to put it down in the description, and I'm going to put it at the end of this video. While I was discussing how I just did not have a good idea for this video, my friend was like, now hear me out, why don't you do something actually romantic for Valentine's Day? Like, go on a date, or have a friend day, or something. And I was like, that's just not on brand. So instead, here we are, gonna get our Great Gatsby on. I'm going to be doing a Myrtle post-crash makeup look. We're doing post-crash makeup, and without further delay, let's get started. So first off, I need to know what I'm doing to my face. What better way to know exactly what I need to do than to crack open the book and read about the crash. You guys like my Ice 9 Kills bookmark? There's not much in the crash description that I can do, so I'm gonna have to get a little creative. But I'm just going to read you a little excerpt. But I'm just going to give you like cliff notes on how they found Myrtle's body. So it says that her shirtwaist was ripped open, which means the underbust part of her shirt is where the car actually impacted and split her open. So that would imply a giant gash across the belly. It said her left breast was detached, so there was no reason to check for a heartbeat with the heart that was underneath. Basically, what I did last year with the heart ripped out of the chest, except there would be some skin flap involved. So we won't be doing that, especially since this is a new dress and I really like it, so I don't want to mess it up with any liquid latex. So see last year's video if you want to learn how to do the chest part. Basically the same concept, except instead of rolling, it would be skin flappy. Make sense? Makes sense to me. So I'm going to continue. So I'm going to read this excerpt directly from the book. And her mouth was wide open and ripped a little at the corners, as though she had choked a little in giving up the tremendous vitality she had stored for so long. So one thing I have to 100% do is extend the corners of the mouth. So that's what I'm going to start with, and then I'm going to move on to a little improvising and coming up with some other things. I've got some ideas. I have misplaced my Jeffree Star mirror in the process of going to Ichiban and back, so I'm going to be using this instead. It's just a smaller mirror, but I'm going to be able to see either way. So because you guys have already seen me do the slit mouth with my Black Veil Brides tutorial, I'm not going to go that route. I'm just going to like paint on some slits on my mouth. But if you'd rather go for a very realistic slashed look, I'm saying this like anyone's gonna actually do this, but if you wanted to, you could use that tutorial to do that with, just don't stitch it up. But for this, I'm just gonna draw it on and see how it goes from there. just like that. And I'm going to take the pointed end of a Q-tip, dip it in my handy dandy scab blood, and go over the lines I made. Trying to be very careful with the scab blood so I don't drip it on this dress. Next, I'm going to do some cuts because, as you know, if you've read Gatsby or seen it, Myrtle was hit by a car. So I'm going to do some gashes, maybe on her forehead and her cheek. But I'm going to be using a new medium that I haven't used before on this channel. I'm going to be using that instead of liquid latex and tissue to give you a little bit more of a variety of things that you could possibly use. Of course, I say that, but if it doesn't work out, we're just gonna go back to the default liquid latex and tissue. I should have saved my lips for last because I feel weird with just my lips done. So I'm gonna take my little metal scoop and scoop out some scar wax. Blech. Set that to the side for a second. Scurry around my workstation looking for a specific item. There we go. I'm going to use some Vaseline on my fingers just so it won't stick to my fingers. Okay, now that I've got a big old blob of scab blood, I'm just going to make a little incision into it. Okay. Because she was hit by a car, I'm going to put some glass in my wound. But I'm not going to use real glass because that's freaking dangerous. Instead, I'm going to use a plastic cup. So what you're going to do, take your scissors and just cut a little jagged piece right out of your cup. It looks like a broken shard of glass. Then I'm just gonna wiggle it down over that scar wax. Just like that. And take my spatula and move the scar wax all around it. And because she's not a doll, I'm gonna have to put some blood around it. So, I'm gonna drag out my scab blood again, being very careful with it. Continuously wiping my hands of the fresh scab blood because, ooh. It's perfectly fine for blood to be all over the glass because it would totally splatter. And then, for you absolute super fans like me, I'm going to add in a little bit of yellow, like a yellow paint chip, along the side of the glass. Just a touch of yellow. Now I'm going to repeat the step and do above my eyebrow with another piece of glass. Plastic. I just realized I did it on the total opposite side of where I actually removed makeup. I'm so smart. And a little bit of scar wax. Don't want as much this time because it's a smaller area. Put some Vaseline on my fingers. Wrong fingers, wrong fingers. Now I'm going to just carve out a little space right here and place the glass. Then once again, repeat the steps. A little red cream paint, scab blood, a little bit of yellow, and you're done. Gonna open up the scab blood for a third and final time. Wish me luck. Kind of afraid. I don't know where the lid to my scar wax went. Problem. Big problem. Huge problem. There it is. No longer a problem. Alrighty. And there you have it. This is my Myrtle Wilson inspired Great Gatsby makeup. I know that this probably doesn't read well on camera, so as always, I'm going to post some pictures here. The finished look. I really enjoyed doing this makeup. I had a lot of fun coming up with the concept and then executing it, and using scar wax for the first time on this channel because I know some of you may have a latex allergy, so scar wax is an alternative, and it is hard to work with. It does crack if it's clumpy, but for the most part it's fun to work with. You're gonna need some Vaseline to smooth it out with, but for the most part it's just fun to work with. But for the most part it is kind of simple to work with. It's like intermediate instead of easy. I hope you guys enjoyed this Myrtle makeup. You could combine different tutorials that I've had and really create a gore look, or just more of a muted SFX look, which is what this was. So I hope you enjoyed this Myrtle Wilson inspired makeup. Let me know down in the comments who your favorite Great Gatsby character is. Mine is and will always be Gatsby. And so we beat on, boats against the current. Happy Valentine's Day, my lovely little ghosts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you come around again soon. Say bye. Bye!